Thank you very much, Sarah, and really great to see you and all the panelists and inviting me to give a talk on responsible material and especially looking at certainty. And Madhuri, you did amazing, amazing talk. My God, we cannot replace that one, the human touch and human angle of in this particular context. So my name is Mukesh. I've been here for 20 years. Previous life, I was in banking, looking at buying and selling coal mines. And for 20 years, I am in research field in Cambridge. This particular topic is very, very close to my heart because since I moved into this supply chain area, I always wonder where things comes from, and it's so difficult to figure it out where things comes from. So I'm going to give you talk about a project that we are running from last two years on Global Supply Chain Observatory, especially looking at UK-India critical mineral supply chain. Um, if I move, yes. So why we are talking about observatory? So if you look at some of the research work done, and especially this particular research of 2024, it talks about there are lots of data that is not there to make supply chain more visible. Um, Even some data which is there is behind the paywall. Even if it's behind the paywall, they are also incomplete, and there are lots of gaps there. Um, Ultimately, this particular article claims that half of the world mining areas are undocumented. It's not visible to people. And this invisibility creates a challenge. And why this is happening? So from the point of view of a firm, it almost looks like a firm, a manufacturing firm like Rolls-Royce or Jaguar Land Rover. They're driving in a foggy day in the motorways with the full speed, maximum speed of 70 miles in UK. And what will happen is the accidents, and that's why we see lots of disruptions there. But more importantly, because we are talking about responsible supply chain, responsibility are fixed by regulators as well, and we can go beyond regulation and regulatory compliance. But even those regulatory compliance are a big challenge. Um, we look at these regulations from the human right related regulation, information related regulations, and environment related regulation. And it talks about scope one, scope two, and scope three. Scope three includes the end to end supply chain from mines to the product and even recycling and reuse area, circularity that we talk about. But if we only see supply chain, our supply chain only 10%, how we can create compliances in the invisible area is impossible to do that. Many of our speakers talk about making decision under uncertainty, and that's one of the challenges that we took it up, that why can we reduce this uncertainty in this area. So first thing, three words that I would like to bring into your attention to make supply chain responsible. One is the visibility, means where things are. Traceability, how that material flows from mines to the processing plant, to the component manufacturing, to the final product, and to the user. And the context, and context is very important. And I think the first speaker talks about the context as well, and even Madhuri referred to that one. In which context it is coming? Is a climate context? Is a human related context? It's so important to do these things. So it builds, this concept builds on each other. And this is the problem that we are trying to solve, that we don't have visibility, we don't know traceability, and of course, transparency is the much more difficult to achieve. So what we did, we created a proof of concept between UK and India, looking at their critical mineral supply chain, especially in EV and PV. And what I'm going to do is show you just 1 minute 40-second video very quickly. And this video, what you are going to see is different supply chain stages. We are creating 4,000 data points, connecting each other, and then we are trying to create visibility. Visibility means where the resources are, where the mining locations are, who owns these mines, where the processing is happening, where the component manufacturings are there, for example, here battery cell, and where the final EV manufacturing is happening. And when we look at all these things, we can connect with the export import data, and it can start telling you material flow. We started using some of the data which is in satellites images, and we can now look at biodiversity analysis. We can do air pollutions. We can even look at the golf course in the mine, in one of the Kolveji mine here. And it's all about creating this more data related informed decisions, how decision makers can get these information, where things flows exactly, where the trading nations are, where the data gaps also exist that we also cannot solve. And these are the things that we are trying to address: the visibility, traceability, and transparency. Even when you look at geolocation, sometimes the geolocations also shows you villages and the pond, but not exactly the location of mines. Again, as an academic institution, we also do modeling, and we put everything in model and we try to create. So these are the proof of concept that we created. And based on this proof of concept, what we said is now we can map out the supply chains with the big data analytics. We can do stress testing of these supply chains. We can do greenhouse gas emissions. We can create transparency and regulatory compliance area. We can certainly help. And we can also do the digital auditing. If company can do those things. Again, those are the proof of concept. Based on the proof of concept from last year, we now started developing the platform. The platform is much more complex task, because with a small data set, with hard work of humans and the research team of 18 people, we can create the proof of concept much more stronger. But when we are looking at really, really large data sets, we are talking about uh, points that is much more complex. And here is the example. We take the raw data, we try to find out which country is connecting with the which country. We have various nodes that we identify the content on that data, and then we create a graph database. What you are seeing is millions of points that needs to be connected. And at the end, how some of these points create the visualization. And we have the end-to-end data pipeline where we process lots of data here, and most of these data are related from the PDF, Excel, and different file formats. But also we use satellite images to generate data. All these things are only possible because there is an institutional backup there, and various institutions within India and UK, they are supporting this particular activity with the collaboration with local institutions. You can see that right now we are in testing phase. So people from FCDO, people from Ministry of Mines, they are logging to our system and they're testing. They're telling us what kind of information they need, in which format they need, whatever is there, whether it's perfect or should we need more improvement. So they are doing those testing and trial. And also in the middle, you see Indian Prime Minister is talking about this particular project. This particular project is actually getting a very higher attention from the policymaker, because policymaker also have much more less visibility than any firm. So with this, I just wanted to say this platform is ready right now as a prototype. But if you are interested, please come in touch. We can show you, we can do your demo, what it does. And we are still in the scaling up phase, and how to scale up, it might take 4, 5, 6, 7 months. This is one of the projects that we feel that will not to make anyone villain or hero. It's about making companies, people, governments to realize what they are doing, and based on that, what best decision they can make. Uh, as the academic institution, our responsibility towards the society, and this is one of the projects that we think has a societal impact, also industrial growth impact for the nations. Thank you very much.
Mukesh, as always, absolutely amazing. And it's so exciting to see how the research is evolving and growing. Everyone, please put your hands together for Mukesh. Brilliant. Mukesh, you showed us, I mean, the video, which is amazing, shows so many different proofs of concept. And as I'm sure you remember, we've had a number of discussions around me going, yeah, but is it real? Because I've also made videos that do that in the past, where I know that ain't real. But coming into your sort of, development phase, are there particular items of the proofs of concept that you're focusing in on at the moment because you think that they might have more value?
So basically, we are more focusing on ESG area,
Hmm.
and how the satellite imagery can really help. So we have only certain number of gases that we can monitor. We are trying to combine different data sets to bring more ESG element much more stronger.
Hmm.
Um, so that is actually making us awake in the night, I would say. But the platform development itself is a nightmare because we are not professionals. We are just humble researchers. It's not our job. But then, if we go to a professional body to ask them to develop a platform, they ask numbers are in millions, and we cannot afford to do that.
Mm.
So we have taken the job on our own shoulder, and it's working. The great thing is working with a small Mac studio that we bought. But giving us a very much hope that with advancement of AI and AI related technologies, we will
Mhm.
be able to make this thing much more stronger going forward. And Sarah, I really would love that you should visit our lab at some point of time.
Yeah.
We would love to show you because we are very much keen that person like you should be looking at it and being part of it.
Yeah, no, and I'd be delighted to. Just in terms of the funding for it, so is this still kind of in like research funding land where the money is coming from governments, etc., or do you have the vision to spin this out into a company, or what's your plan with regards to that?
So personally, I feel, Sarah, if I make it company, then it will start cutting corners.
Hmm.
I am arguing, and I have written to the government that can be declared this one as a national infrastructure, so we can have more trust in the data, the rigorness of the data, and keeps on developing it and making it much better. So idea is that we should have a strategic infrastructure that helps companies, that helps people to make the world a little bit better place. So again, right now is coming more as a research funding, sometimes application funding from FCDO, and sometimes no funding. That's perfectly fine because as a group we are very very strong. I told
Hmm.
you around 18 people are working on this, uh, and we will make it. We are making it happen slowly, slowly progressing it.
Hmm.
And that platform that you see, we started developing from December, and right now that platform works.
Brilliant. Isn't, the world of AI and machine learning, and I know we're going to hear a bit more about that from Matt very shortly, but it's amazing what we can do now compared to even a year ago. Isn't it phenomenal?
It's amazing the tools right now. Even I am doing programming. I can't believe it. My daughter is surprised. I can create a tool that policymakers likes it, and I demonstrate to them, and it's just done by me. I'm very pathetic in choosing colors, doing visualization, and it allows me to do something that I feel like, is it me?
Yeah.
But can I just say, we have to be careful as well because these tools are keeps on changing. The way we are doing is through localized AI model because we cannot afford the highest computing power cost.
Mhm.
Sometimes I was told by Google Cloud that it might cost me 500,000 a year in terms
Mhm.
of computing if we run this platform. We want to make it so that we can afford it. We don't want to create a white elephant. And also making sure that it doesn't hallucinate and
Mhm.
in the places so that it's ethical, responsible AI as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Brilliant. With that, everyone, please put your hands together for the phenomenal Mukesh and good luck with all the development that's going on because it looks amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Absolutely
Sarah.
brilliant.
Thank you.